doing? Good evening. Welcome back to our fourth episode of Married, Single, It's Complicated. My original two co-hosts aren't able to make it this evening. Kay and Ardren, they're a bit under the weather, but our prayers and thoughts are with them as they recover and recuperate. Today, we had planned on a guys' night, but yet and still, we one of my co-hosts, one of my guests was not able to make it this evening. They had to cancel. They had emergency situation come up. But we will still be discussing the same topics, the same categories that we originally planned. And to my left, I have a very dear friend of mine, very close to my family, very near and dear to my heart, Miss Makiba Hill. And to her left, I have my father-in-law, who's also very near and dear to my heart, not just because he gave me his daughter's hand, but it's because he's a constant inspiration and a very positive figure in my life as a male. So I'd like to take some time out to thank you guys for coming on to our show, Married, Single, It's Complicated. I'm pretty sure both of you guys have experience in all three realms, and we look forward to getting you guys' intake on our topics for this evening. Mikey? Mm-hmm. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell our guests a little bit about you.
Well, first of all, only you and your daddy can call me Mikey. I go by Faith, and I actually fit all three categories.
Okay. How so?
Because I've lived my life, David.
Okay. Baby, this is an open forum. You got to talk
You're
to me.
You're absolutely right. So I've been married twice.
Twice. Okay.
I'm single when I feel like it. And everything else is just complicated.
Complicated for you or the guys you're dating?
Po fellas.
Jesus.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. You're comfortable and you're confident.
I most certainly am.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
Congratulations. With 45 comes some wisdom.
You're 45?
I'm 45.
You look great for 45.
Thank you. Don't I? Hello. All right.
All right, and I see that your shirt says no feelings.
No feelings. This is how I live my life.
Okay, it kind of fits the whole.
The
see
whole
now.
Topics. No
I
feelings.
see.
This was for you and your topics and your show.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I could tell you put some thought into this outfit.
Separate the facts from the feelings.
That's why I love you.
All right.
That's why I love you. Okay. To my father-in-law.
My name is Lionel Sims. I am David's father-in-law. I didn't necessarily give my daughter to him. I think he took her. And
I like that.
And in doing that, what I was most proud of, I think my daughter married me. Most of what he says and what he does reminds me of myself. And I appreciate him allowing me to give him corrective action on the times. Mm-hmm. But I always ask permission.
He does. This is a fact.
I never barge in. And David, maybe we might ought to consider a different approach.
Okay.
And he's never, ever denied me that opportunity. And plus, he gave me two of the most beautiful grandchildren.
I have to agree on that. They something else.
They are. And the life that we're living right now is it's a dream.
It is.
And I'm living a dream that I hope to have. And thanks to him, but more importantly, thanks to God, for bringing him into our lives and making this the reality that I dreamt about.
So Jessie Pooh just ain't do nothing.
Say what?
Jessie Pooh had nothing to do with this?
I'm sorry. A disclaimer.
She carried the babies.
Disclaimer for those of you guys who don't know.
Jessie Pooh carried the babies. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, Mikey is a very near and dear friend. I consider her a family member. She is very close to both me and my wife. She calls my wife... Rather
That's
than
my
Jessica,
Jessie Pooh.
She calls her Jessie Pooh.
Absolutely.
So,
but I do appreciate the comment.
Okay.
And
get that baby her credit.
I will.
Right.
And by the way, I seek revenge. You got one coming.
All right.
Challenge accepted.
You see, we already have
getting a little chippy.
It's getting chippy already.
That's what makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go on to our first topic, which is going to be life after cheating. From a male's perspective, is there life after cheating? If you've been cheated on, whether it's a girlfriend or in your marriage, are you able to move forward? Would you say that a man is able to move forward once acknowledgement of wrongdoing is done, an apology and a change of behavior has taken place, is a man able to move forward from that, or would pride, ego, and self-esteem take a hold of that and cause him to leave that relationship because of that hurt? Because so often we see that men are able to do it without remorse. But then a woman does it once, man can't take it.
Well,
What say you?
Well, it's an interesting point, and it's my first time on your program, so I need to be real clear on the point of my responses. My responses are from an area that some people don't go, and most people won't dare to tread. And it's from a spiritual perspective. And I view a spiritual perspective as being the proper perspective.
Okay.
Because whenever we include our feelings and our attitudes into a response or to a perspective, we're bringing ourselves in there with all of our baggage.
Okay.
And most of our baggage is not from that perspective.
Okay.
And you have to be led or guided by something. And if you put yourself in a position where you're guided by something that's greater than you, all-knowing and all-powerful, then it can't help but be the proper perspective. So in response to the question you just asked me, from a spiritual perspective in dealing with, can a man get through that and get past that, it goes back to the point that God created marriage.
Correct.
He ordained it.
Right.
And in that ordination, it was to be something that could not be broken. It's a solid ring. It has no beginning, it has no ending. That being the case, then anything that can come into that can be something that's to exclude family, to exclude the proper perspective. So what a man has to do, if he can, and if you fail at that, I understand that. I truly do. But if you can, it goes all the way back to the original commitment that you made. And that commitment hopefully was made before God and made before people. Don't worry about what the people say. It's what God says. And if you're intent, committed to making that work, you'll find a way.
Okay.
But it has to exclude your personal. You can't put all of you into that in terms of how you feel.
That's hard. That's a hard thing to do.
Well, I understand that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, Faith.
Okay, I know this question was for the men, but ask the question again.
Is it possible for a man to move on after being cheated on by his significant other?
No. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, I'm listening.
Men are territorial.
Extremely.
Women are possessive. There's a big difference. So, if women are more accepting when their spouse or their significant other steps out, we're going to be mad. We're going to do things to you. We're going to kick you out, all that stuff. But at the end of the day,
petty.
Absolutely. It's our nature. But at the end of the day, most women, if you look at it,
Okay.
and I did a paper on this in college, by the way.
All right.
If you look at it, eventually we'll take you back in. But the territorial male, no. In his mind, someone has invaded that's my personal space. That is my territory. I marked that. That was marked just for me. You can never get over the fact that another man has been in your personal space. You're not going to get over it. You're not.
Man.
Point blank and period.
You out here preaching the gospel.
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying.
I wish I had a point to disagree with you on, but I don't.
Yeah.
But I do.
All right, let's hear it. Talk about it.
It's where I started and where I'll stand my hat and where I'll stay. You have to get outside of yourself. It's at a level that's really, quite frankly, beyond you. Whether it works or whether it does not work, whether he does it or whether he does not do it, if he understands the spirituality of the relationship from its origin, I love this woman loves me. And there's a scripture that talks about all have fallen and fallen short of the glory of God. Yeah. And we all have. And what I do in many instances, I have to take a look at myself. I am the only person that I can do anything about. And we all have fallen short.
True. If
that happens, it goes back to the level of your commitment. If your commitment is greater than your ego. You know what ego is, right?
Right.
Edging God out.
And the superego.
That's, the ego. And the ego and the attitudes that you have may be far beyond you being able to look past yourself. And in most instances in life, we have to look past ourselves.
But most men, your flesh. Most men, you're not going to look beyond yourself.
But that's the whole point. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about most men.
You're talking about yourself.
Well, I ain't that strong either. Let's be straight up now. I can't talk about it if I don't know it. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily agree with you because I'm trying to help somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why I came here today.
All right.
I'm trying to help somebody.
Okay.
And I got to tell them the truth.
Okay.
You've heard me speak truth before.
I have.
And I will speak it.
No matter who's
listening.
listening.
I will speak it. I don't care where I am or what's going on. I will speak the truth. If you don't accept it, that's fine. But that's your choice. But
right.
I am charged with a responsibility to tell you what the truth is. How you navigate that, you might need to talk to somebody else because I ain't sure I can do that because that's not my experience in my life.
Hypothetically, if that was your experience, would you be able to work through it and stay?
I can't answer that with pure honesty.
Based on the biblical principles.
I can't answer that in pure honesty. I would like to sit here and lie and tell you I could.
Okay.
That'd be a straight up lie. Because my ego and everything that you said before would be in front of me. But isn't that the challenge of life, though?
It
isn't
absolutely
that the beauty
is.
of life?
It is.
Is not that what we are supposed to be able to try and do? Even if we fail, let's just try.
I ain't that strong.
And maybe I'm not either, but thank God I ain't been tested.
My non-spiritual side gonna win every time. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Well, when we finish this today, we'll have a private conversation. But the truth of the matter is, you know why I'm really a strong believer in what I just said earlier about spiritual matters. Because I tried everything else, and the only truth I found is in the Word of God.
Okay.
Everything else is hypothetical, systematic, and conjecture. The truth is in a word. That is the truth. I quit.
All right, I hear you. Now, both of you guys are right. Okay. I agree with both of y'all. Father-in-law, Mr. Sims, what you stated, the example that you gave is what we should all strive for.
Of course.
Mikey, the example that you gave is where the hell we all at. Okay? With that being said, from my own personal experience, before I got married to my beautiful, loving wife, I was dating a particular female, and she stepped out. We were dating. She stepped out. I found out about it. I thought I could forgive and forget. As it turns out, I couldn't. I just couldn't. My ego, my pride, I wasn't able to let it go. Every time I saw her, I saw betrayal. I saw, I can't trust this girl because she stepped out when I went out of town, and she told me her entire schedule, her entire itinerary for that whole weekend. And then when I found out about it, it turns out she was untruthful about where she was at and who she was with and what was going on. And so now it's like, I can't trust anything you say because this was a planned event. It wasn't something that occurred by accident. It was planned for the weekend I was out of town. You knew what you were doing. It's something you wanted to do. It's not just, okay, you got drunk or he roofied you and you ended up somewhere you you planned on doing this. You wanted to do this. And so that's all I could think about from that point forward. And I stuck around for another 6 months. But after that, let's just say all hell broke loose. And it, you know, there was no arguing. There was no violence, nothing of that sort. It was, you let the cat out of the bag now. You challenge someone to a game who's better than you at that game.
Did you feel violated? You felt violated, didn't
Extremely, 100%.
I figured that.
100%.
Okay.
You know, because the thing is, like, once I know that you don't have my best interest at heart, then there's no real reason for me to stick around.
Now I have a question.
What's the
Told
question?
you I have the unpopular opinion.
Okay.
So because she
Wendy says, "Hey, Mr. Sims."
Because she
Hey,
opened her
Wendy.
legs to someone.
Okay.
You told me I could be me, did you
Yeah,
not?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Be yourself.
So because
Okay.
she opened her legs to someone.
I'm too young for this.
That was, she had sex with somebody. That doesn't mean she wanted to spite you or anything else. I'm not condoning what she did. Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that she was challenging you. It doesn't mean she was out to get you or anything else. It just means she had sex with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Why you can't get over that? Because you're territorial.
That plus with men have the innate ability to sleep with someone, to sleep with a woman, and it means absolutely nothing to him.
What makes you think women don't have the same
Because
innate ability?
Women are more emotional than men. They are. Oh, you disagree?
Oh,
Okay, Mikey, you like 1 in
wholeheartedly.
1,000. Like, you come on, like.
Let me tell something to you. Look. Free game. I'm about to give you some free game. Okay. Women in committed relationships are emotional.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Women who are out for a good time are out for just that. Can I cuss on you?
Speak your mind.
I can fuck you and keep it moving.
Okay.
I can.
Okay.
I'm just saying, because I'm out here for a good time. You understand what I'm saying? It depends on what the mission is that night. Y'all keep putting all women in this box. What you don't understand is we have the same thoughts and feelings as you. We just go about them differently.
Your point's well made, and I appreciate your point.
I'm sorry for cussing, Mr. Sims.
No, that's okay. I understand the cuss word. I see a few myself. I'm trying to restrain tonight. I got some of my Christian brothers looking in. Hide the Bible. But my point very simply is, it's called sport.
Mm-hmm.
And women do participate in the sport.
And we're better shots at the sport, too.
Much better than men would ever be.
Mm-hmm.
And men are shocked when the women are sporting more than they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't beat them at their own game.
And y'all count, too.
We do.
They think this a conquest, but it's really yours. I get it. I understand all of that. But my reference to that, from my perspective, was one that dealt with commitment.
Okay.
Yours doesn't.
But it was based on what he said. He said women are emotional and we get attached.
Well,
I was not
situation.
making an argument with that.
I was under the understanding at the time that we were committed.
Oh. Yo,
that's
bad.
different. Her response wasn't to a commitment. Mine was.
All right.
Let's not,
And
like
see-
you said, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, I'm gonna digress on that thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I won.
You won.
Somebody give me
Hey.
I need a scorecard.
We do need a scorecard
I
because
need a
trust and
scorecard.
believe.
Got it right here.
I told her I was
got it
coming.
right
Didn't I tell you I was
Everybody who's listening and watching this podcast, that will be his only one.
coming? No, but I told her my perspective was
Challenge
the proper
accepted.
perspective.
Okay, you do have the proper perspective. though.
I'm
You
going to
do.
keep it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Okay. Now that I've mentioned a bad relationship from my past. Oh yeah.
Are we moving on?
We moving on.
We moving to the next subject?
Moving to the next subject.
Hey, where's
Oh,
your
Lord Jesus. And don't start with me. Go give her first.
Okay, I'm gonna give you.
Ask the question. Let her
No
go
feelings.
first.
What's the next
This
topic?
one's a little rough.
Let's talk about at least one bad relationship that you had and what you learned from it.
One bad. Well, I've had several,
Okay.
but
All right. Not to put you in a box, we could talk about a friendship. We could talk about a coworker.
Let's talk about a best friend
Let's
that
talk
I have had.
Okay. All right.
Male best friend.
A male best friend. Wait, hang on. You're not talking about me, are you?
Nigga, no.
Okay, good. Thank
The
you so
hell?
much. This would have been too embarrassing.
Yeah.
This not my best friend. I hated him when we.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
that's a whole nother podcast.
Jesse Poo
we could
is
talk
why
about.
we friends to this day because I didn't like him till I met her.
He reminded you of yourself, probably.
Maybe,
more
but
likely.
I didn't like him till I met Jesse Poo. But anyway,
Jesse Poo, okay.
Jesse, that's my Jesse Poo. But I have a male best friend.
Okay.
We're gonna say had, and we met through a mutual person. So what made the relationship bad is this is my friend, this is my ace, this is my dude. We never crossed the line. It's like it's my dude, it's my
Right.
boy. And like we're so close to where I have a bedroom in his house. It's my bedroom. It's
Oh, wow.
my room, my stuff, my bed, all my stuff. And one night I was there, you know, whatever, and you remember that movie Boomerang?
I
Yeah.
do.
You remember the scene with Eddie Murphy and
Yeah, I
Nick Sleep
do.
watching Star Trek?
Yeah.
Swear to God, same exact scenario minus Star Trek. We were watching Napoli Ever After. But long story short, I woke up to forehead kisses, this, that, and the third, and one thing led to another.
Mm-hmm. See
And
what Netflix and chill get you?
what?
See.
Oh boy. What? So that led to a terrible relationship because it ruined we lost our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It ruined everything. Like I turned into a typical female, which I ain't like.
Right.
It pissed me off because I'm you know me.
I do.
Not a typical female. So like, who is she? Why is she here?
You couldn't
Why is she
recognize yourself?
calling? Yes, that I turned into her. But mind you, these are the same females that been calling, hitting them up the whole time. You
That
know,
you were never worried about.
ever, because this my homeboy. This my dude, and yeah. So that was a terrible, terrible thing.
Okay.
Speak your mind.
You went to the point of intimacy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We ended up going beyond the point of intimacy to where it's like I moved out of my bedroom into his bedroom, and we were no longer best friends. We were like this couple that never spoke up and said we were a couple. And then what ruined our friendship was I turned into that the possessive. I told you, men are territorial, women are possessive. I turned into that possessive female.
You understand why?
I'm gonna claim temporary insanity.
Of course.
That's what I'm going to claim.
She pleaded the
Well,
fifth.
What
why
is
don't
it
you
called?
just
It's
take you to
called.
fifth?
It's
called
called
the
being.
fifth.
It's called being digmatized. I was digmatized.
What's digmatized? That's a big word. What does that word mean?
Just roll with me. That's what it was, and it ruined not only a relationship. It ruined our friendship. Like I lost my best friend of 14 years. So
Y'all crossed the line y'all shouldn't have crossed.
Maybe
We did.
Maybe y'all should have crossed that line.
no, we should not have. We never should have crossed that line.
Well, who would you want to be with? Somebody you just met, or somebody you really don't know, or be with somebody that's your best friend, that's always had your back, always comforted you, and always been with you.
Sometimes it's not about your wants.
Well, that's the whole point I'm making.
Right. In this case, it wasn't about my wants nor his wants.
So what was it?
It was lust. Desire.
Okay, well, speak the truth.
What
then.
came out in the end, what came out in the big picture is I always, in the back of my mind, was like, yeah, you know, he good people. I can't understand why he's single. He's a great guy. I would date him. I would marry him, blah, 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 blah. He had the same thought process without me knowing. We had the same thought process, but neither of us knew that we had that thought process.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing was wrong with it until
what?
I ruined the relationship.
How
I
did you
turned
ruin
into the typical female. It's like, she don't need to be calling. She don't need to be coming by here. Who is she? Now, like I said, I knew these women. These women were always around. But after he and I crossed that line, oh, no, sir. They got to go. And that wasn't fair of me to tell him to let his...
Wait a minute. Whoa. Why wasn't that fair?
Those were his friends before we ever crossed the line, and
But
they were just his
they
friends.
were intimate friends.
No, they were his friends.
Okay,
But
so
once
you
he and I
went
crossed the
beyond.
line-
No, the line you crossed was a line where you said who would be his friends and who wouldn't be
Exactly.
his
The
friends.
reason they couldn't
Because
be
they
his
were
friends
female.
anymore, right? It's like because I'm your best friend, and we crossed the line, so it's even easier for you to cross the line with them. Y'all not as close as we are. So I got to the point to where I'm telling him what he can and cannot do. And one thing my father told me, and I forgot in that one moment, but one thing my father told me is you cannot tell a grown person what to do. My father taught me. He said, let me tell something to you, because in my first marriage, I'm prior service. Me and my husband were military. We weren't always stationed together.
Thank you for your services.
You're welcome. But we always took leave together, no matter what. We always took leave together, whether it would be to my parents' home or his parents' home. And one day I came home on leave without my husband, and I was having some issues like, Daddy, I don't know what he's doing, da-da-da-da. And my dad told me, he said, let me tell something to you. When that grown man goes on that side of the door, it's none of your business what he's doing on that side of the door, because you're going to worry and stress yourself to death.
About most things that didn't even happen.
Yep.
Did he tell you that?
He did.
Oh,
he said
I like
you
your
can't
daddy
control
already.
what's going on or anything else. He said, but when he come on this side of the door,
How he treat you?
that's what he said. It matters how he treats you and that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing on this side of the door. My father taught me, he said, you don't go looking for nothing.
Because you'll find it, whether it exists or not.
Absolutely. He said, you don't go through no man's stuff or anything else. He said, if you want to be happy, you create your happiness by minding your own damn business. And that was my father's words.
Is your daddy still?
No, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
But
would love to have met him.
For that temporary moment with my best friend, I forgot everything my daddy told me.
And what made you think what caused you to think like that?
Like, for that temporary moment?
Yeah.
I told you I was stigmatized. It was...
I don't even know what that word means. Why don't you tell me what that
Can
word
you
means?
explain
I don't know what it means.
I don't want to explain this to your father-in-law.
I don't want to explain it to my father-in-law.
Oh, you said
yes.
Oh,
yes.
I think I got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're thinking. That's what it is.
Yes. Whatever you're thinking,
She's
that's what it was.
She's head over heels for him.
Because
based
it
on
was just great.
Based on lust.
Baby.
So yeah,
Baby,
but it's over. That's over. That's been years ago.
Wasn't nothing wrong with that.
It was. I ruined. We had a great friendship. We did.
But baby,
and we could have gone back to our friendship had I not approached it that way.
Oh God, I got a totally different story.
Now I just can't be his friend. We're not friends at all.
Well, I mean, God has His way of doing things, but when you say you cross the line, that may have been the side you should have been on in the first place. That's all I got to say.
You may have wasted 14 years being
that
his
man,
friend.
Yeah, but
I told one of my daughters came to me one time. She was telling me about this guy she liked and another guy she liked, and she kept talking about this other guy.
Hopefully, it wasn't my wife.
No, it wasn't your wife.
Okay,
no,
all right.
No, it wasn't your wife.
We can carry on now.
I killed everything. I killed everything that came through the door with Jessica. You were the only one that came in the door. I cut them off.
Well, thank you,
you survived, homie. You survived.
I made the cut.
Hello.
I cut them out.
You still ain't shit though.
But the point I'm making with you, and this is behind the scenes now. It's gone. It's past. But who would you rather be with other than your best friend?
I would have loved to have been with my best friend, but it didn't work out that way.
The relationship that was already in place.
Right.
But that's the blossoming of a relationship that should be in place.
It should be, but because of the way here's the thing.
I think that
it's not too many women who's going to accept their responsibility in the demise. The demise was all me. It was me.
Okay.
It was me being overbearing and trying to tell this grown man what he was and was not going to do.
Okay. I agree with that.
So
you're absolutely right.
That's on me. It's on me. And like we're going to go back to ego. My ego, just like men have ego, like I told you, I know about the ego and the super ego. I have that. I'm not going to go to you and say, hey, you know what? I handled that wrong. Let's do a do-over. No. You walked away, I'm going to let you stay away. My ego won't allow me to say, hey, best friend, let's try this again.
Try what again? Being friends or
Any
a
of it.
relationship?
Any of it. Any of it.
It grows.
It won't. I'm done.
No, I get that. But you see that as a mistake.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But I
Okay.
learned.
Okay, but you learn not to make that mistake again.
And I learned to never let go of my father's words.
Your father's words were very
Right.
profound.
I learned to never let go of
no,
his words
his
again.
words were profound.
Right.
And I would have loved to have met him, and he and I sat down and had some conversation, because I preach the same subject.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look for something, whether it exists or not,
You're
you're
gonna
going to
find
see
it.
it. You're going to find it. You're going to see it. It's not even there, because your mind, and again, talking about spiritual matters, it's spirits are alive. Both those spirits that are demon spirits and those that are Christ-like spirits. And I'll go on a limb and say right now, what was invading your mind were those that were to preclude you from having something that could have been a blessing from God. I'm
Right.
not saying it was, but from you telling me, if you were that close to him in terms of a friendship, what better partner in life to have than your best friend?
Right.
That's coming from a man been married 30 plus years.
It is what it is.
Oh, by the way, I'm married to my best friend.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is. Got
And
my-
there were other mitigating circumstances that I won't bring up, but yeah.
Well, we might not have time.
Yeah, that was my
Mar-
part in it.
Married for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Are we moving on to the next subject?
Moving
That's
on to the next subject.
All right.
Yes.
But still tied in.
Well, my daddy had a saying for that, but go ahead.
I want to hear the saying.
Oh, man, the saying is great. He was married to my mother 50-some years. I never really understood that.
Wow, that's
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
And I broke down one day and asked him about it. He said, I don't know if I love her or I'm just too, I've been with her so long, I don't know what the hell to do with myself. Because he always had a saying. He said all the time. He said, I'm going to leave y'all and I'm going to go get me a room. I'm going to just leave. He never left. And what's the question?
Well, I hadn't asked the question yet.
I answered something you asked. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the question that I intend on asking is, in a relationship, both individuals in that relationship have their needs.
Right.
What are the absolute must-haves for a man? Because men we're natural conquerors. All right?
I agree.
Yeah.
We're full of ego.
Yeah.
We're full of pride.
Right.
We will not give up ground unless the person we are with holds a certain special place in our heart.
Right.
Okay.
We will give up thing after thing after thing after thing. Where do we draw the line?
I'm so glad you asked that question.
I want to hear the answer.
My
to
favorite
this.
spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'll answer the first part of your question second, but I'll answer another part of it that ties into it first. I think I said that backwards, but my point is, a woman needs to be felt love, and a man has to be respected.
So we want the same things, just in different order.
It's totally different order.
It's different. It's completely
And
different.
I'm reminded of a song. Y'all not old enough to remember the song. It's one that a group called I think the Impressions. They say the same thing it took to get your baby hooked is the same thing it's going to take to keep her.
I know that song.
You know that song? That's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got her, when you met my daughter, when y'all started dating, oh man, you was on your best behavior.
I was.
I mean, you put the charm out, and you're a charming fella. You charm me.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And
He got it from his
you're a
daddy.
charming fella.
Shut up, Mike.
Well, it's kind of a backwards impression of myself. I told you like me, so don't get too carried away. But my point very simply is that you have to keep the fire stoked. because that woman has to feel love. And it's not the big things that you do; it's the little things.
You're
Just the little
absolutely
I mean,
correct.
the little bitty things you do for, I still wash the dishes.
I can co-sign on that. Hello.
And every now and then I sweep the floor.
Hello.
And she'll get up and say, "Oh, baby, baby, I wasn't doing anything. I just did it." And I mean, and she's warm, and she's excited about the fact that I care enough for her to make sure that she ain't got to be bothered with that. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that to the point, and you, as you know, Rita had 2 children, and I had your wife when we married, and then we have a child together,
Right.
Blended family.
Okay.
And the whole point of that was, if I want to show my wife how much I love her in front of her children. I ain't got to win the children. They already won. They see the way I treat their mother.
Right.
Life is good. Life is good. I mean, she doesn't have to worry about anything. If I thought it, I got it. No, I'm sorry. If she thought it, I got it.
I knew what you meant.
I'm
married too. I know what you meant.
Man, you gotta do that thing. Your situation is you got the perfect situation. Oh man, I come by just to watch you interact with the grandchildren. Oh, that's, man. Don't think I'm not paying attention.
I'm sure you are.
24/7. I'm watching, man. I'm paying attention because at my age, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here, but I gotta leave something. I ain't got no money, so I leave some sense.
That's more valuable.
It is.
It really
that money gonna get
It
spent.
is.
If you
Hello.
use it, if you hear it. So my point in this conversation is that there are so many people that are confused, misled, and all of that's by deception. And the deception, again, it's all a spiritual matter. It really is. What was the question?
So everything leads back to the spirit.
I'm just talking. What's the question?
What you're saying is everything leads back to the spirit and the word.
It does.
The question was, what are the must-haves in a relationship for a man, from a man's perspective?
Just respect me. Just respect me 24/7. Don't ever disrespect me. And a woman, just love her. And love her in front of others, especially the children. Because the children are gonna follow what you show them. The
Right.
point is, more is caught than taught.
So I
There
have a
you go.
question.
There you go. Did y'all catch that? We're going to have to pause for that quote. More is caught than taught. Did I say it right?
You got it.
That makes sense. But I
Makes
have
a
a
lot of sense.
question.
What's the question?
So I will agree with you that men want respect first in that order.
Okay.
But at some point, I feel like a man, this is my thoughts on it. A man wants respect, appreciation, then love. Women want love, appreciation, then respect. We both meet in the middle. We both meet in the middle on appreciation.
But you know what the primary factor in that you didn't mention?
What?
Communication. Baby, I can't read your mind. You got to tell me how you feeling today. You got to tell me what's going on. Because, see, men, we're natural problem solvers.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that point.
We are natural problem solvers. With that being said, if I come home from work, working a 12-hour shift, I'm dog tired, I'm bone tired. My wife gets home from working a 12-hour shift. See, we both work shift work. She's also bone tired. And she goes to complaining about, her shift relief didn't do their job, nurses didn't do their job, or, difficult patients, or the families of patients that were being difficult. Mind you, she never does this, by the way, but just in case she does. I want to fix the situation, right?
But you can't fix everything,
Let me finish.
D2?
You cannot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the same thing as telling a hungry lion, they go a bunch of zebras.
And you can't have one?
And you can't have none. And the lion goes, well, what you tell me about the zebra in the first damn place for? So the thing, we're natural problem solvers.
Okay.
My aim is to fix the problem that she's presenting to me.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I kind of, and mentally, I fast forward her conversation in my head. Okay, let's say Nurse Susie is giving her a problem. Constantly, every day, that she goes to work with Nurse Susie. Nurse Susie is constantly giving her a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I'm thinking, what do we do about Nurse Susie?
But you just said you fast forwarded the whole thing.
Exactly. So she's telling me details.
But you're not actively listening.
Nurse Susie poured out the cup of my wife's cup of coffee that she left sitting on the desk.
Okay.
Nurse Susie isn't making the rounds that she needs to make.
Okay.
Nurse Susie isn't following the doctor's orders. Nurse Susie is doing what she wants to do. Mind you, Nurse Susie does not exist. This is a fixed. I just made her up on the fly.
Jesse Pooh, we don't want no problems. We don't want no problems. This is just hypothetical.
She's telling me about XYZ.
Okay.
Mentally, I'm thinking, how can I stop XYZ from bothering my wife? Because I see the discomfort. I see the stress that is bothering her. And her being under stress stresses me because I'm a natural protector.
Okay.
I have to protect her from what's bothering her. Now, when I jump to problem-solving solutions, I get in trouble. I get in trouble because I'm trying to solve a problem rather than listen to it.
Right. That's what I was about to tell you. You have to, it's called active listening. To actively listen to somebody means I'm going to let you get it all out. I'm going to let you say all of it. And I'm going to pay attention while you're saying it. But I'm not formulating how I'm going to fix it or anything else. I'm actively listening to everything you tell me.
Right.
Then I'm going to take it in.
Do that every time.
But I need, okay. The human,
because remind you,
human
I'm
person actively
too.
listen.
I just worked a 12-hour shift.
So
with
at this point,
Johnny,
say, "Hey,
that's
sweet."
Also giving me the
so
blues.
at this point, if you know you cannot actively listen, say, "Hey, love, I know you had a hard day. I know you did, and I want to hear everything about your day. So how about this? Let's shower. Let's take a nap. Let's rest.
Take a nap after 12-hour shift? No, that's good night.
Okay, let's go.
That's good night.
Okay, so let's go CP night. Let's take a shower, go CP night, and then let's get up and talk about it so I can actively listen to you so I can help you.
What you're not factoring in is that works for me. That don't work for my wife. That don't work for
So now you
most
have to
females.
figure out what, no,
because
you're
here's
not
the
going to
problem.
put all the females in the box. I ain't going to let you do that. All of us don't live in the same box. Everybody don't live in that box.
Most females that I know, with the exception of you.
Let's just say the females that
you know.
cannot.
So if you're telling me, you said you were 45, right?
I am 45.
Have you always thought like a 45-year-old?
Hell no.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying it has nothing to do with my age.
But it has everything to do with maturity.
Have I always thought this way? No. Have I always been taught to think this way? Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't accept this level of thinking until I was like 37.
Okay.
I was like, oh, yeah, I know better.
You remember the age?
Hell yeah, I remember the age. Because a light, I swear to God, a light bulb said, bloop.
Can I interrupt just a moment?
Take it. Yeah, go ahead.
I love this woman. I just met her.
Yeah.
You didn't just meet me, Mr. Sims.
Well, I met you.
You just
again.
now remember meeting me.
Well, no, I'm getting to know you.
Oh, you're getting to know me.
She is
okay.
absolutely
right.
1,000% correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your job to fix it. It's her job to say it. All you got to do is listen.
Right. And I said that.
But here's the good news. And this is a trick, right? Mm-hmm. You get tired of listening to that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't really want to hear it, right?
Of course I want to hear it.
No.
I want to hear it every time.
No.
This is,
I know.
You're about to get him beat down.
Now. We got to, no. Here's the deal.
Beat down. Like,
you don't.
Jesse Boo, I'm going to come hold him down for you, too.
You don't have to listen.
Uh-huh.
Man, I can take my mind someplace else. I can do all kinds of stuff with I be having a good time. She's just talking.
Oh, so you be in your own little bubble.
Okay, we gonna cut the broadcast.
I'm not.
We get my father in trouble.
No. I'm listening. Oh, she already know.
Okay.
She already know. I don't be listening.
I love this man.
I just act like I'm listening. She said, "What did I say?" Yes, dear. That's all you gotta know. Yes, dear, and That's all you gotta be able to say, man. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, dear, and
But what happens when she comes back around the corner and say, "What'd I just say?"
I was diagnosed with a hearing problem when I was 5 years old. And
what's your excuse?
I don't put my hearing aid in.
Do you have an excuse?
Do I have an excuse? I was diagnosed with ADHD.
that means nothing.
Man, just
It
find.
mean-
ADHD means you take in more than anybody else because your
It mean-
hyper ass
mean-
don't have
my-
shit else better to do.
But it's
think
not
so?
for. But it's not for you
Yes.
to
You think
fix.
so?
Yes.
It's not yours to fix.
Correct. I agree. It's not mine to fix. but
Leave it
that's-
alone.
It's a natural instinct.
I get that.
And you're speaking from the standpoint of 30 plus years of experience. I'm like a newborn compared to you.
Well, then you need to listen.
I'm trying to. But it's the something's bothering my wife. I got to fix it. I got to stop it.
It ain't. Don't put your tool belt on.
I
man.
know.
It ain't
It's
your
hard.
job.
It's
Hello.
hard. It's hard.
It's not yours.
It's hard.
Tell him one more time,
And I'm
Mr.
learning.
Sims.
That's something that I'm man enough to admit that I'm learning.
Mr. Sims, tell him one more again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all listening to this podcast.
Tell him one more again,
Man,
Mr.
it's
Sims.
not your problem to solve.
It
It's-
is not.
It's hers. She'll deal with it. And I understand because I'll put my tool belt on in a minute.
But here's where y'all
and I
dropped
put
the
a cape
ball.
on.
No, I don't. Well, here's where y'all dropped the ball. Number one, we don't always need you to be Superman. You said your cape. I get it. Number one, we understand when you are overwhelmed. We get it. Believe it or not, we get it when you're overwhelmed. I don't always need you to be my Superman. Sometimes just let me come and spill everything onto you. If you just sit there like your father-in-law said and look like you interested in what I'm saying
Right.
and let me finish, I'm going to be like, whoosah, now I could take a shower and baby, we can go sleeping that night because I'm good. You let me get it all out.
That's all she wanted.
That's it.
That's what all I'm saying is.
That's all she wanted.
I understand that.
Well, why can't you
I
deal with it?
understand that.
You need to
What's-
put
what's-
yourself to the
like-
side,
What's stopping
Negro.
you from dealing
Just
with
like
it?
I understand that in the game of football, you need to score more touchdowns than the other team.
Okay.
That don't necessarily mean I'm able to do it.
But sometimes
I'm
in
trying.
football, field
I
goals
go-
count too.
I
Damn
go
a
to
touchdown.
practice.
Damn a
I go
touchdown.
to
A field
practice.
goal.
I listen to my coaches.
A conversion. Come on, nigga. I watch football too.
I call the flag on the play. I ask the upper management to review the play, but that don't mean I'm gonna get it right all the time.
You're not supposed to get it right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't done 30 years.
Well,
I got this thing down,
He
man.
gonna
It's-
do
I got
30,
this thing
goddamn
down. This thing's a science now. And
Right.
she listening in.
right.
You-
But see,
you
here's the
gonna
thing,
do
though.
30.
You're speaking from 30.
But I'm giving it to you now.
Right.
You ain't got to go through the trouble I went through to figure it out.
Right.
I'm handing it to you.
Right.
And it's proven and it's true.
He giving you the game.
I'm giving
And I'm sitting here listening. Why you think he on the show?
But I'm happy.
Now he giving other people the game.
But here's the thing: are you taking in the game?
You think I ain't?
sir?
You think I ain't?
Because
I'm hitting him
I-
with his. Let me finish. I'm hitting him with reservations that not only I have and have had. You think other men ain't?
They all got it
I'm
because
sure
I
they
had
do.
it too.
Exactly.
I'm sure.
We all had it.
What happened to your thing?
Oh,
But girlfriend here is you talking like a man.
that's why it's called guys' night.
What did I tell you?
That's why it's called guys' night.
Wait a minute.
And
Mr.
she's a
Sims.
surprise guest.
Mr. Sims, before we even started, I told you. I said, in my former life, I think I was a man, and you said, "No, baby, you weren't a man." I've been told this on several occasions.
You act like a man.
You were a dude, and no, I don't act like a man. I'm 100% lady. But what I'm saying is, my thought process is that of my brothers. I have 2 older brothers, plus I had my dad. For many years, it was my dad, my 2 older brothers, and me. My baby sister came a whole long time later. Long time that she was a oops. Mama wasn't supposed to have no baby.
Your
But
children are beautiful, by the
I
way. I
got
saw
it
the
now.
Well, thank you.
videos.
But
I
the
got
thing
it.
is, my thought process is that my father's thought process was, this my baby girl, this my only girl. I know who I am, I know who I was. She ain't gonna get taken by nobody like I was. Because when my father found me, he told me about how he found my mama, all that stuff. She changed him, blah, 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 blah. But he also never hid who he was before he met my mother. So he made sure, just like in high school, you know how girls get all caught up in dudes and he can buy me this and he driving back in the day, it was the Cadillacs
Lexus.
and all that stuff. My father said, no, baby, that's debt. You see that Lexus?
Do not
That's debt. You don't want that.
confuse success.
You want homeboy went to
with
Honda
debt.
Civic that he had to put the little muffler and all that stuff on and it looked like it's pieced together. That's who you want. My father made sure that I had he gave me enough to where if I made dumb mistakes, those dumb mistakes were on me.
Because you had the knowledge base.
Exactly. I couldn't blame anybody for my foolish mistakes with a man. My father made sure of that. 100% certain.
So if you were forewarned, you were just headstrong, you went on ahead and did it anyway?
So let's go to my 2 divorces. So my first marriage was...
We got time for this?
We do.
Okay.
We got 10 minutes.
My first marriage was... I was seeing this dude, and I got pregnant.
Okay.
He happened to be cut from the same cloth as my father. He felt like, you're pregnant, we should get married. Okay. Me and my daddy told him, we ain't got to be married to raise this baby. He was like, no, I never had a dad. I won't do that to my kid. I
get it.
So I got married. Married, we had another kid.
Okay.
Truth be told, one day, this going to sound real crazy. My husband came home. He said, do you love me? I was like, yeah. He said, no, nigga. Are you in love with me? It's like...
You had to think about it. You
no,
had to think about your response?
No. And his response was, oh, girl, I ain't never fell in love with your ornery ass either. Our divorce literally cost us $99.21.
Y'all agreed to it?
Because we parted on mutual terms. We were mutual. So the first time I married for circumstance. To this day, my first husband, that's my dude. Me and my daughters made him marry his wife. We liked her. When he started dating her, we was like...
That's the one. Don't let her get away.
And they still married 13 years. They're married 13 years today.
Congratulations.
And me and his wife get on his nerves, by the way, because we do stuff together. I like his wife. We get along very well. My second husband, that's when I married for love. I was head over heels for the first time ever in my life. And I was a grown-ass woman. Head over heels in love.
What happened? I
married a man whore.
Oh.
I went through 7 extramarital affairs that I knew about. The only reason I'm divorced is because the last affair produced a baby.
Okay.
We were going to stay married. We were going to raise that baby. And one day I woke up and told my husband, I'm going to mistreat your child.
So you were honest with yourself enough to be honest with him.
I said, I'm not going to hurt her or him, whatever it was going to be. Not going to hurt it.
You just felt like you couldn't live through that.
I will never treat this child like I treat my children. That's the only reason I got divorced the second time. That's it. Because I was head over heels. But in the end, in the interim, my father's words, they came down on me like a sheet. My father didn't raise me to be that woman either. And the very first time my second husband had an affair, for some reason, I drove 7 hours to his grandmother's house in this place called Denmark, South Carolina. She said, I already know why you here. She told me, she said, all I'm going to tell you is if you go back, you letting him know what you're going to accept. And I went back. And I let him know what I was going to accept. In comes the 7 extramarital affairs. When we went through divorce court and that came up, he sat on the stand and said, those are the affairs that she knew about. So it was way more than that. But what I'm saying is, every person, that goes back to the very first topic.
Okay.
Men, territorial.
Right.
Women, possessive. Because we're only possessive and not territorial, we'll forgive way more than you will.
A man has to have respect, and a woman has to be
loved. So if he would come back, I love you, and I'm sorry, and with the tears and all that, I take him back.
You don't have to do remorse if you do the right deal. And I'm going to add something else to it, and it's kind of off the subject, on the subject. But it's a spiritual twist with a secular position. You ever seen the Mac?
Several times. Several times.
Pretty Tony.
We say the right things. We do all of the right things to get our babies hooked.
Right.
I Mac my wife now. We 30 years into this thing. I Mac all the time.
And I bet you she loves it though.
She eats it
loves it
up.
Hello.
I mean, she eats it up. I mean, the things I do and the things I say. I mean, she can't help herself. Because the buttons that I'm pushing, I made them. And she looks forward to it. Keep the fire hot.
But you still push them on purpose.
I do.
Hello.
They're purposeful. But it's all to help her and to lift her up.
Right.
Never tear them down.
Right.
Make them feel, they got to feel loved.
Right. Right.
And I have to be respected. She gives me what I need, and I give her what she needs. And you can take that to the bank. That works.
So at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
That matters. I mean, she feels it.
And one thing I want to say about your past relationships, there has been an undertone of honesty. You being honest with yourself about ruining a great friendship with your best friend. You being honest with yourself about telling your ex-husband that you would mistreat his outside child. Him being your first husband being honest with you about not loving you, you not being in love, you guys being honest with each other about not being in love. Not every relationship has that. And to be quite honest, too often even especially on social media, when you know somebody's personal business who's stepped out on a relationship or a marriage, so forth and so on, a lot of people say, oh, I would never put up with what that person put up with.
But you can't say that until you're there.
Exactly. That's the point I'm getting to.
Okay.
I would never allow a man to treat me like that. I would never allow a man to bring home another kid. Or I would never allow my wife to wear that out in public. I would never allow my wife to, entertain other men, things of that nature. We as a society, we as a people, we are too often judgmental about other people and making speculation way too often on other people's relationships.
Absolutely.
To each their own. People are going to live their life the way they see fit. People are going to do what is comfortable for them. And if the shoe fits, wear it. If you love that cheating no good man, then love that cheating no good man. If you're going to stay with that woman after she, confessed her flaws to you, then so be it. That's your business.
I agree.
That's how I see it.
I'm going to throw something else in here. I've been sitting here talking to you, and we met casually. I'm listening to you talk. You would not have mistreated that child.
No, I still do.
I understand. I heard you. You believe it. I don't. I'm listening to you.
No, I would have mistreated. I still. The truth is, like, my son. I'm outside the norm of the spectrum. When my son turned a certain age, I decided, hey, you got to go stay with daddy, because mommy I can teach you how to be a gentleman. I can't teach you how to be a man.
Nope.
So I sent my son 1,600 miles away to his dad. My baby girl was like, I'm going with my brother. Hurt me. It killed me to send her. So I sent both of them. This is how I know I would have mistreated his daughter. She's a daughter. When the kids would call me after I sent them to live with their dad, because that's where they wanted, my son needed to be there, and that's where my daughter wanted to go, they would call. Hey, mommy, how you doing? And the little girl would say, I want to talk to your mommy. My exact words were, don't put that heifer on this phone. I want to talk to her.
You went there.
Yes. I would say, don't you put that little heifer on this phone.
I never would have thought that.
And did I feel bad after I said it? Yes. But would I ever talk to her on the phone? Hell no. No.
Your ego overtook the reality of who you really are.
No, the reality was she's a bastard child.
And you went there.
I did. And to this day, I go there.
Is it
Okay.
Is it because you're still hurt by that?
The sad part is I'm a nigga. Didn't feel hurt. I felt disrespected. How could you disrespect me? If you're going to go out and you're going to sleep with women, you.
Don't
bring a kid. Don't bring a constant reminder into it. My whole thing was I never would have found out. I never went looking because my daddy taught me better. These women would call me. This lady, I got a phone call. Hey, I'm pregnant. Now, I knew this lady. I'm like, congratulations. She said, when she said his name, I said, my husband? She said, yes. So, because my ego kicked in, I'm a nigga. My ego kicked in. I said, well, when is our first appointment? She said, what are you talking about? I said, if you're pregnant from my husband, we having a baby.
Wow.
When is our first appointment?
You know what? You should have started off with that.
That's what I'm saying.
You should have started off with that.
So
that is a whole nother episode.
Hello, call me
by
back.
itself.
We're going to leave it at that.
You know what? I ain't giving up on you. I believe there's something else underneath all of that.
I'm good. I'm in a relationship. I'm fine.
That piece. I just don't believe that's who you really are.
No, that's who I am.
No, that's what you said.
That's who I am concerning that kid.
Well,
concerning
I tell you what,
that kid.
This is time being paid for this. So if we talk again, we'll talk privately.
Talk again. Yeah.
Because I just don't believe it.
That's who I am, Mr. Sims. I'm sorry.
All right, folks. Toward nearing the end of our episode 4, we hope that we discussed some topics that could help you guys out, some information, some wise words, some great perspectives and opinions on some topics that people have. I've spoken to people about. But at the end of every show, we take time out to highlight small businesses or small entrepreneurs who are bright young stars and very ambitious. So at the end of today's episode, we are going to highlight 2 intelligent and adorable young kids who I'm blessed enough to call my own, my children. David is 7, soon to be 8. My daughter Ryan is 4. She just made 4 on November 5th. They have a toy review channel on YouTube where they open toys of all sorts. They play with them. They put them together. They give them honest reviews. And trust me when I say honest, because if they love them, they're going to let me know they love them and they want more. And if they dislike them, they are really going to say that they dislike them. And, and they're going to give reasons as to why they dislike them. And they have recently been, picked to, just in time for Christmas, give an honest toy review about one of the latest toys that hit the market. So all glory to God, giving glory to God on that.
Amen.
These kids, they something else. They something else. And we're going to put the spotlight on them for a second. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. We'll see you guys next episode. Thank you.